So Instagram, getting friendly with the gram, I've called it, because I think this is the start of a process of getting to know Instagram and getting to know the tools and getting sort of good at it. So I'm going to keep this to the essentials, an overview, some of the key things I think you need to be doing to start off with. And then I'm actually going to go through creating a post. I wanted to keep it quite practical and actually have the screen up and be showing you stuff and as I'm doing it, because I think that brings it to life much more than just giving you slides. But I do have a few slides because then you've got something to look at afterwards with just some things sort of set out basically. So I'm just going to share. Hopefully this will come up in the right place. Okay, so some little slides, getting friendly with Gram, and it's actually about getting friendly with used to Instagram, but also making friends on the gram. So it's a bit of both, really. Sort of, and I know people at different stages. Some people have started, some people have been sort of using it lightly as a viewer, I suppose, and not really posting. And then others haven't started at all. So I just want you to sort of chip in with questions and chat as we go through this, and we'll make it as useful as possible, and hopefully get you posting if you haven't been. So I'm gonna have to scroll down. I can't flick down the pages on this, unfortunately. Let's just slightly change that. There we go. So I think let's just go back up. Actually, the key thing for us as furniture artists is that the Instagram is so visual. It's a great shop window, and I actually think it's a nicer, more supportive place than Facebook can be. You can create a world really by the people you follow and interact with. You can actually create a really nice world around you, much more so than Facebook, where you can sort of mix with lots of people in groups and stuff, and it can be, it can be a bit of the Wild West sometimes. There's lots more interactiveness with other people, but Instagram, I think, is you can sort of build the world around you and make it full of people that are sort of on your wavelength and create a tribe a bit more easily. But we need to demystify it for everybody who's feeling a bit sort of where to start and a bit stuck. So the first thing I want to say is to be you. Be you. I didn't really know what I was doing with Instagram. There wasn't lots and lots of training back then, and I sort of muddled along and realized I had quite a good following through no structure or anything. And now I'm actually doing some sort of courses and learning to try and take that sort of tactically or strategically to another level. And it's actually a bit painful because I was actually being quite organic about it and being myself and just doing things and showing people things, and that they warmed to that. So I really think there's a tribe for everyone, and everybody, will have people drawn to them if you're yourself, if you're speaking to your friends, show your personality. You don't have to show a lot of yourself, but it's good to show glimpses of yourself now and again through your feed. I think helps people, get to know you. And I say, don't worry about the algorithm. Focus on, focus on creating content that people want to interact with. I think that's what is really important, and I sort of try and challenge myself to. So we need to take it a little bit beyond just saying this is what I'm doing, or here's this. We want to be sort of entertaining or informing, or just generally giving people something from what we're doing. And it might just be the enjoyment of looking at the picture, or something that sort of just, that they get something out of it. Even it might be a fun little story. So I've actually put a few little prompts there for things that you can think about when you're wanting to post something. So keeping it quite natural, but a way of bringing them into what you're posting. So it's not just about you talking at them. And this is a little bit of a challenge, but this can really make your post much more engaging. So asking questions. You can do that at the beginning or the end. You could ask them to choose what colour, this colour or that colour, or this handle or that handle. People love jumping in with stuff like that. Starting a conversation, and you could do that by telling a little story and then asking people what have they got any stories like that? What did they think? Call to actions are pretty important for us as businesses. I think, if you want to actually say where somebody can go and buy something, or if they can talk to you about commissions, you can pop that in there so that you can demonstrate perhaps your particular project that you're doing, and sort of infuse your post with information about the thought process you've gone into or the service you've given, and then say at the end, and if you're looking for something similar designed for you, just feel free to drop me a message. I think so you're actually giving it that reason at the end rather than just a straightforward post. But there's other things you can do. You can share inspirational quotes, tips and tutorials, so little bits of tidbits of information. And don't think because you may be sort of starting out that you haven't got stuff to share, because there's people who are who will have less experience than you, who would love to hear from you, and the information that you've got to share with them, or ideas, any ideas you've got, and to have fun, really. I think especially now when you're starting out, really focus on making it fun. Don't put a lot of pressure on yourself to sort of be thinking, I've got to have thousands of followers. And you have the ability at this point to create an audience. Because I said mine grew quite organically, and I didn't really know what I was doing and who was following me. But you can be more intentional with who's following you and who you're following. So you can build a nice audience of people who like the same style as you, and of customers, and not just of sort of random people who like masking tape reveals. So you can be a bit more intentional, and your style will draw people to you, and your personal style, as well as the things you post and the things you have to say and the things about you. So let's just go on. I'm going to quickly just double check. Yeah, that we haven't got any prize for Hannah. Yeah, so that sort of leads me neatly on to sort of just a few specific elements that I think are quite key to come back to, so to sort of get you started, but you can come back to this to sort of as a prompt. And key thing, first of all, when you're setting up your account, is to complete your bio. And it is quite short. I actually don't know how many characters at the top of my head, which is naughty, but there's a little tick in the corner. I'll show you that when we go in to do the walkthrough, that will tell you whether you've sort of overgone your limit. And I always overgo my limit and try and sort of whittle it down, but try and put a little bit in there about what you're about, so it could be furniture artist, but it could be, passionate about color, passionate about, or, very interested in sustainable design. Could be a mum of 2 kids, following her creative passion. Put something in there that brings you to life as a person, and sort of makes you sort of different from, because you're different from other people, because, there's no one quite like you. So put a bit of your personality in there. Make sure you've got links in there as well. So it might just be, don't say just, but it might be going to Etsy. It doesn't have to be a website or your Facebook business page, but some way that people can come and have a look at, a bit more about you, or what you're selling. And then also I suggest that your photo is of you, your thumbnail photo is of you, rather than the logo or piece of furniture. Make it personable. And for anybody who's used Instagram, you will know, but we'll see as we go through, that the little circles that your face appears in, it's very like Facebook, they actually start to become quite recognizable to your eye when you interact with people a lot, particularly when you're looking at stories. And I can almost instantly think of what some people's are like, and when I see them, I know it's them. So don't make them too complicated and hard to see, because people will be drawn to the fact that you've just updated something or that you've liked something, and your presence becomes quite familiar. So it's one of those things that I'd say don't change it too often unless you're really fed up with it and you want to refresh it. But have a little look what other people have got on their profile pics. This is a great tip across Instagram, and I do it frequently, is look at what people are posting, look what people are hashtagging, and get ideas, because, it's a big sharing space. But yeah, get your bio completed so that if somebody sees something, they like something you're doing, they know how to get in touch with you. It's quite key. Then I think the next thing to do, if you're just getting started, is to start to think about following people. You don't need to go crazy, but you do want to, this is what you're going to see in your feed from the people that you're following. And so yes, follow things that you're interested in personally, but also you need to be thinking about the things you're interested in the business. So it might be certain magazines, interior designers. It might be thinking about the sort of things your customers might be into. So if there's certain shops they're into, certain media companies they're into, certain fashion brands that you think that's the kind of people that I'm aiming for, they'd be into that sort of thing. You want to build a world so that what you're seeing is the sort of thing that they're into. And then it helps you to find your customers as well, because you can go and say Rocket St George, for example, or let me think of some other one, I don't know, Farron Ball or whatever, but you could go to some of their posts and start to chat on those, and people will see you, and you know that you're in front of the right people. So we are thinking of our world on Instagram needs to be more about the people that you want to see what you're doing, rather than it being your contemporaries. And I think it's the right tough, and we will draw in people who are doing similar thing to us, but we really want to be actively going and following people that we want to be selling to, really. And that will come. I mean, you don't want to be sort of leaping onto people that don't know you, but maybe you can start by just chopping the bottom off on this view, I'm afraid. But go and find some of those big key accounts that you think their followers, I would like them to be my followers, because they're into something that I'm similarly into, and the work that I'm doing, I think would interest them as well. And you can set notifications on those accounts as well, so you can see when they post, it will come in your feed, and you can go and interact with that. And then people who have that similar sort of taste will see, might see your name, might click through and go, oh yeah, you've got something interesting to say about it. We'll come on to this with the engagement stuff, but certainly go and strategically follow accounts that sort of relate to the sort of area and the customers and where they might be hanging out. And as you see, we'll have a look at it on my phone, so you get more of a sense of what I'm meaning. Posting regularly is really, really important. And regular and consistent. I'm just keeping it quite loose there, because some people post a couple of times a day. I try and post once a day, early morning or early evening, really early morning, which sometimes doesn't happen. You have metrics inside your account you can have a look at, but you sometimes just by trying it out and seeing the response is the best way to do it. But if you want to sort of commit yourself right now to say I'll post every weekday or every day that I'm in the workshop, the more you can commit to, the better. So I'm not putting a hard and fast down there, but regularly, more than once a week. If you can try and aim for once a day. I usually miss 1 to 2 days a week. Yeah, I'm not saying some of this stuff I'm saying you don't necessarily do what I do, because I still have to push myself and work at being consistent with these things. And when I have a busy day, it doesn't happen. So I think it's, we do our best. And don't forget, it doesn't need to be all perfect finished shots. I do struggle with this a little bit, because when it's a busy day, it's grabbing something eye-catching that looks good. But some other ideas are behind the scenes, close-ups, like a detail shot. You can go right into, like a pattern or just a small detail of trim or something. And people like to sort of take picture of one side of a piece of furniture and just sort of mix it up, sneaky peek type things. Before and afters, I'll tell you a bit more about the app that I use for those, but you can do them, as carousels. So you have one picture and you slide and you can see through the process. People love stuff like that because they get to actually interact with it. Flat lays, so you could put the items that you're going to use on a project, the colours of the paints, some fabrics, and make like a little sample board and take a photo and ask people what they think, or this colour or that colour, that sort of thing. So there's more than just having to have a finished photo there. You can get people interested in your process as well. And as I said, remember to show you, you don't have to do it in a crazy, if you see on my feed, it's probably 1 in every 20 pictures or so, possibly. So that sort of leads on to mixing it up. So I think what we should do is really set some challenges, and we'll go into creating some of these types of content together, because obviously there's only so much you can do in a session like this. This is just setting the scene and hopefully getting you into doing maybe your first post. But things like carousels, which is where you slide through the images, so you just have the dots underneath and you can go through. You can either put text or you can put images, or you have videos in there. But that gets you more engagement because people are scrolling through, and it shows that people are on your post for longer. And reels, you may well have heard of those. They sort of come from the TikTok world, where you get a small sort of 15 to 30 second clip, and you can put music on it, and people are doing all kinds of silly dancing things, which is acquired taste. But you could do a little close-up of painting something with some music over it. You know, very familiar one is Paint It Black, people painting things black. But, you know, it's just a bit of fun. It extends that engagement that your post might get. And if it gets people sort of interested, Instagram will then show it to more people and sort of send it further than just your sort of followers, and it will grow. I said try to post a couple of stories a day. So this is in terms of mixing it up. I'll show you the different areas when I go onto my phone itself. And stories sort of sit behind your feed, essentially, so they can show more of what's going on. They only last for 24 hours. You can save them to story highlights, but they're a more relaxed place and great for a business to sort of show the inner workings and the behind the scenes of your day. So I said there, your morning coffee, you know, what your dogs are doing, what you're doing in the workshop that might be not so pretty. And there's lots of different ways of interacting with people there as well. And people like to look at stories and not just the formalized content on the grid, which is the main feed. So in terms of getting that sort of extra engagement outside of your followers, especially when you're just starting out, hashtags are really, really important. What that's going to do is by literally tagging your feed, your post with these hashtags, effectively like categories, or like putting something in a folder. It creates an organizational structure of different topics. And so people can go to that hashtag, and that hashtag will have a feed of its own. It's got its own sort of it has like a most recently posted and sort of latest post with that hashtag, and anybody can go and look at it. So it pushes your content out from beyond people who just follow you. People can also follow those hashtags. So you could follow, like one I was just looking at tonight, which was My Colourful Upcycle. You know, you can tag it with that. You can go and see what other people are posting. And a really neat thing is you can then go and interact with people on some of those top posts. They may not be your posts. They may be from bigger accounts. You can go and be in amongst it and giving yourself, you know, sort of a bit of exposure by being in there and chatting to people on those posts, and people see, oh, yeah, she's I like what she's got to say, and they might click through. So it's just another way of getting your name out there. Now, I'm pretty good at hashtagging. I'm just not very good at the next part, which is the engaging. I think this is the bit that can take quite a lot of time. So this is something I'm still working on, but it's incredibly powerful for growing your account. And we're not talking about, you know, we've talked about this before, we're not talking about growing it to thousands upon thousands. We're talking about growing it to a significant number of people who are ready to buy and are interested in what you're doing, you know, so that you don't feel like you're talking to yourself. And I will interject here and say, keep posting even if you feel like you're talking to yourself, because it is so surprising that, you know, weeks and months later, somebody can say, oh, I saw that thing you posted. You're like, whoa, you know, even if it's tumbleweed in the early days, and I know I wobbled with this, is don't worry about it. Just post authentically from yourself. Right, I want to show people this. I guarantee, you know, if you don't show up consistently, that will harm, you know, how well you sort of get out there. But that people are actually seeing stuff more than you think they are. I learned that the hard way, or in a nice way. But I learned how much ground I lost by not being consistent and pushing myself, even if I felt a bit, no one's, you know, squeaky all the time, no one's watching. They are. So yeah, showing up regularly is really important. So hashtags, I use the full 30. I'm going to show you on my post how I do it. There's lots and lots of theories about it. Some say use 3. I don't really get that one. Some people say like between, you know, 9 and 11 or whatever. I mean, you get 30, and each one gives you opportunity to be exposed somewhere. So I just think use 30, but better to use some than none. If you sort of dashing a post off, better to have a post up with 10 than not to post at all. So I find them a pain, but you do get quite good at sort of coming up with them. So I'm going to go through how I do them. When it comes to working out how effective they are and doing the analytics. I think we'll save that for a sort of follow-up session. I think we just want to get started in this one. I myself am looking at the best ways to look at those metrics through different apps and applications. So that's something that I haven't found the best answer to that yet in terms of which one I would use and recommend. So that's something I'm working on, and that's something we can cover in later sessions. Yes, so each feed, research hashtags and keep a note of them. So I'll show you an app that you can use to build little libraries of hashtags. There's more than one out there, but obviously I don't want to be giving you a great big list of apps. I'll just tell you the ones that I've used. And the key thing is, do not copy and paste the same bunch of hashtags into each post. Once you've saved them, the app I'm going to show you actually shuffles them for you, which is good. But once you've saved them, you need to cherry pick. And as you go along, you might find you start to type some in off the top of your head, and then you can go and grab a few more random ones to insert in as well. So that's just a quick run through on that, but let's see that in practice when I go through to my post. Engaging. So you've heard me talk about this, we've gone through, and it really is very true. You get out what you put in with Instagram. And in terms of entertaining and informing and giving people something that they want to come back and see what you're doing next, is one of those things. But also going and engaging with them on their posts is really important. And it's something that you have to make time for. And it's something that I'm really going to be dedicating myself to now, because I want to make time every evening, just like going around then and doing the socializing thing, because I think it really impacts how many people comment and interact with you. You know, so it's a two-way thing, really. Commenting for 4 or more words is good practice, because it really boosts those posts. So it's the same if somebody comments on your posts, try and draw them into more replies, because it seeds that post. It kind of makes it Instagram think, oh, that's good, that's getting some interaction, people are, you know, responding to that. So when I respond, I'll always respond with more than 4 words. Always make sure, I mean, I don't get to every reply, I must admit. It's that's challenging, but good practice would be to try and reply to every comment. And also before you post, so what I'll do when I'm starting to do a post is actually, I might just have a little roam around, look at some stories, you know, interact with people's posts, comment a little bit, because the thinking is that being active actually helps your own reach when you come to post. I'm hoping to take that further and actually be a bit more out in the community, to share more of other people's posts. So, you know, sort of sharing is a great way of repurposing content, so you don't have to create anything, but you also so you benefit from that, but you also network that way and build relationships. So this is something I want to do more of in my for my account. You know, I think that's what comes next for me as well, not just sort of beavering away, head down with the masking tape and the paint. I think it's now time to use that small platform I've got to reach out a bit more. So that's what I was saying about follow the hashtags that you think would be followed by your customers. So definitely go and look at other furniture painters' posts, I suggest, and look what hashtags they're using and start to note those down, because they'll be using them for a reason. So go and do your research like that, and also following your large accounts. Set it so that you get a notification when they post, which I can show you when I go into my phone. And as I said, you can interact with, you know, interact with them, go on, comment about something that the large accounts have posted on, and it gives you exposure as an account as well. Okay, so let's try and bring up my phone on the screen. Let's just see. Is everybody okay? Looking like it, yes. Right, I'm just going to take a little pause and just check into the group and just make sure. Hang on, bear with me. And then I'll also open the sharing on my phone. Groups. Okay, that's fine. Let me get my link should have done this before. So yes, you can see that. I'm going to just have a little wander around, show you what's what. And then I'll show you into the bio as well, and also in where insights are. Will you just drop a question if there's anything specific you do want me to show you if I go through and you don't see it? We might not get on to creating a story. I've just added that there. But we'll just see how the time goes, because obviously I'm going to be going through. Oh, why has that lost my password? I do apologise. This usually goes in one click. Oh, there we go. It has gone in now. Sign in. Okay. Are we in? Yes. Phew. Hi. Somebody else. Right. Just turn that down. And then, hang on. All right. There we go. So I just need. Let's get that sound down. Just need to give sharing. I do have to apologize for this because I had this all planned out, and now I'm doing it live. I can't remember how to do it. So let's just go to here. Let's just, I know, I need to stop sharing. Thinking on your feet is all panelists. There we go. So for anybody who's not familiar with Instagram, this is the homepage, and this is the feed going down. And really, I think the key thing to say here is, I hope you can hear me okay. Let me just see if anybody says in the chat they can't hear me. Hopefully it's still my audio that you can hear. Yes, thanks, Sherry. Just having a slight sweat there. I just could not see the share option on my phone, and despite best efforts. Yeah, so what we've got across the top, these are the bubbles showing the stories that are sort of in circulation from different accounts. This is what I was saying about having your, thanks Nadine, this is what I was saying about having your profile pic to be fairly recognisable, because I can spot some of these people's profile pics sort of 50 paces. Sometimes you can tell who it is. I don't think it should be your logo, really. I think it's nice to be personable, but anyway, that's just my personal opinion. The other thing to say is it's a bit like Twitter in a way, and Facebook, I guess. It can be a bit confusing, and you sort of think, how do I keep up with everything? How do I know everything that's going on? What about if I'm missing stuff? Because that's how I felt. And I think the key thing to say is you will. Think about this. I was trying to think of an analogy or something to sort of hang it on a hook. It's a bit like looking through a porthole. You're just seeing one view. So enjoy the view. Don't worry about what's going on around it, because you'll be served up what the algorithm wants to show you here. So it is very similar to Facebook in that way. But obviously a lot less advertising driven, because that's getting so full of adverts now. So I'm seeing like Sophie Robinson and you know, so you really can curate your world, and anything shows up here you don't like, you can just unfollow. But it's going to show you things obviously that's most recent in here, and you'll get a little sign at the top that says to refresh it. So don't worry about what you're not seeing, just enjoy the bits you are seeing. And if you can't keep on top of all the followers and all your followers, you just have to kind of work with what you've got here and use the notifications, which is the heart up here, to keep on top of what is happening in terms of comments and where you've been tagged. People are liking your photos and stuff, so you can see I can go and reply to some of these comments. So that's really where it says your activity. That's really where you're going to look. You look at your feed, have a look through what's new, interact with people, tell them you like stuff. But looking at the activity on that heart there is really how you're going to keep up to date with stuff that's happening around your content and your feed. But you can't keep up with what everybody else is doing and everything, so don't worry about that. So and then in the top corner next to that, you've got your messages. This is direct messages here. So you can obviously, like any inbox, you can manage things in there. So that's what that is. There's also a plus sign here for adding new content, and I would suggest, which you can see there, is going to create a new post. And I can also, across the bottom here, you can see post, story, reels, live. I can choose what kind of content I create. I would suggest you don't use that. I need to test it out, but when I was doing stuff from the homepage and adding stuff there, I wasn't getting a draft and I was losing what I was working on. So I always, by habit, go to my profile to create new posts. And the quickest way I get to my profile is down the bottom. So if I click on it at the top left, that is my story. I don't think there's anything in there. Oh, yes, there is. That'll expire very shortly. So that's my story. So those are the behind the scenes posts, not the main sort of more formalized grid posts. So that's what's down here. So I want to go to my profile. I'm going to click down at the bottom in the right hand corner. You see my little me. That's my profile. And the plus here, use that plus there. And this gives you the option of those different kinds of content again to create. And then when you've created it, you can go into, I'm just turning that down because I have a little bit of an echo. Then you'll get drafts behind each one of those specific types of content. So until I check it out and make sure, play safe and go in there. So yeah, just at the bottom, we're just going to go into my profile. So this was saying about editing your profile, how short it is. I just click on the more. You only get sort of several more words after that. So it's really quite short. You can set a category and then you've got that sort of text area with, I've got a couple of @ in there, a couple of account tags for Reclaim and Grand Designs. So you can put anything like that in there, but the Done Up North bit is actually a link that comes from a separate field. So I can click on Edit Profile in the middle underneath, or I can slide the whole thing to the left like this and go in the settings. Oh no, I can't do it there now, it's changed it. So this is the other thing to say, that Instagram is always changing things, rather like Facebook, so it's a learning process for everybody. There was a little edit link, so I'll just click on it in the middle there and you'll see how it's broken up. So I've got a link here and then the bio is down here. I just click on that and that's the bit that's editable, where I've just written in a little bit about me, and you can play around with this, and it's something you can change over time. It's not, I'm constantly tinkering with mine because it's such a short amount of space to describe yourself. And then down here you can choose your category. So I've chosen interior design studio. You could choose furniture shop, I think furniture's in there, furniture store, furniture. Yeah, it's up to you how you want to describe yourself. And then there's also some contact details here as well under personal information settings. So it's up to you. If you want people to call you, put your phone number in there. If not, maybe you want to put an email address in there for people to contact you. And then obviously this is my main feed. And across the top of the feed, you can see the different types of content I've posted. So the grid, as they call it, is there with the 9 squares. It's the first one and highlighted in black. And then if I go across by sliding left, oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, I've gone so croaky. It's now moved to the Reels. So that's the Reels icon at the top there. And you can see that square on the left is showing you the drafts that I've created. So I can go in and make those live. And then if I go across one more time, I've got my Instagram TV. So Reels are very short, so no more than 30 seconds. Instagram TV can be up to 10 minutes. So if you wanted to do a little bit of an overview of a piece of furniture you're working on, it would be more of an Instagram TV. But all of these bits of content, Reels and TV, can go on your grid as a preview post, and then it will link through to these pieces of content. So these are video based. And then you've got shop, and also you've got any posts that you've been tagged in, but you will get notifications about those don't think that's something that a lot of people look at, to be honest. But your shop is something that can be generated from your Facebook shop. So if you get to a point that you've started to list stuff on Facebook, these can be linked together and people can see. They'll also have these buttons here above View Shop, which is quite handy, isn't it? That people can get to you and see your products directly. So this is why having a Facebook page is particularly useful, and an Etsy place well before you have a website. So let me just double check if anybody's asking anything. Yeah. Oh, somebody's just asking there. Let me just see. Sherry's asking, I was playing and putting in photos and put the same one on twice. Can you remove and delete photos on the grid? Yes, yes, absolutely. So if I go back into yesterday's post, I can just go back up onto this little 3 dots at the top. You see the 3 dots here, top right. And then I can choose down here to edit or delete. So I can easily go back to something. However, don't go back to a post and start tinkering about with it. Even if you spot a typo, this is really key. It's not a myth. There's lots of Instagram myths that float around. People say, don't do this, don't do that. And some of them get ironed out. But this one seems to affect the algorithm. If you go and edit your post, and I'm guilty of this. I used to do it, then I stopped doing it. Then I thought, oh, I'm sure they fixed it by now. Leave your typos. If you forget to put your hashtags in, put them in the comments. They still work. Come back and comment. Let that do its business and do it in a couple of days' time if it's really burning into your soul that you've got a horrible typo in there, or delete it and repost it. You don't want to knock its ability to be sort of moved through the algorithm and it to be pushed and seeded out by you editing it, because it kind of almost kills the process. So yeah, that's the 3 dots at the top anyway. Let me go back. So you can see I've also got the black circles are the highlights for my stories. So I can save them so that when they expire, that people can still come and see about the things that I do. I need to sort mine out. I could do with a shop one on there, you know, with sort of, or showing, like I've got in the studio. It's quite good. They're a bit out of date. This is from August last year. But you can simply go in and save your stories and keep them here so that people can get a glimpse of what you do and a little bit more about you in there. But don't worry about those just yet. I think that's something to build on when you've got more of an archive behind you. All of your archive sits, just scroll across again here, and everything you've done, you can easily go through and just group it into those headings. And you've also got a posts archive as well. I don't know why that's come up there. There you go. So those are ones I've archived off. So you could actually choose to archive a post. If you decide, I don't like that post that I posted recently, it doesn't go with my style now, or it doesn't look right, you can archive it off. And I might archive, I was thinking I might archive. I already have archived it. There was a post between these top 2 right-hand ones, which was pretty much the same as the rainbow coloured one twice. So it just looked a bit messy. So I just archived that. But I didn't actually see it in my archive there, did you? No. That's obviously Instagram being tricksy. Okay. So let me just double check the chat. Okay, we're good, we're good. Let's go and have a little look at setting up a post. And if I go to the plus, I go to my profile and then do the plus sign and choose a feed post. And then see, I've already been playing with pictures, but it shows you a gallery. So you can go through and pick something, add it in. Automatically, it's going to be square like the Instagram grid. But this little, the 2 angled bracket things in the corner, which is like a focus on a camera, like an aperture. If I click that, so it's just to the left, can you see that circle? That will give you the full proportions of your image, so that when people click on it so in the feed, it'll be square, but when they click on it, they'll be able to see the full picture. So if you want to be able to see more, do that first. If you want more images, you can choose the circle on the other side. So click that and it'll give the option to have more photographs in your, and this becomes a carousel. You can also have videos. So you might have seen my post last night, I had a combination. You just go through and highlight them, unhighlight them if you don't want them in, pick another one. You can add to this once you've got them in there, but you just want to pick up a few immediately. You can't add the multiple picture option once you've moved one picture into your post. You have to come back out. But if you've got a few in there, you can always add more and delete them. So that's the key thing. But the key thing is you can't, once you've, that's not the one I want, on that one. Once I've selected multiple, I can't then change it back to a rectangular picture. You need to do that first, just a little funny thing about it. So we'll do one picture and take that in. So use the arrow in the top corner. And then I get to the point where I can do some editing. If I want to do sort of more hard edits, like I need to remove, like delete something, like a plug socket or something, because I'm doing a quick thing from the studio, maybe the floor's a bit messy, I would use Snapseed and bring it in after, because this has got some good editing tools, but it doesn't allow you to do that kind of thing. There are filters, but they're a little bit too stylized these days for Instagram. You might want to sort of pull the intensity down, and that might just make them a bit more palatable, but some of them are a bit too much. The X Pro is quite good because it's like an old-fashioned camera, but I tend to do them by hand, and you get used to a couple of settings that you do as you go in. I quite like this one here, but sometimes the colours sort of go a bit wrong. But have a play, see what you like, but try to keep it quite realistic looking. So I'll leave it normal, and then I'm going to choose edit at the bottom. So switch it from filter to edit. And then it's just cutting off a little bit, is it? No, it's all right. I use the adjust option quite a lot. This is really good in here because you can use that to change your alignment that way. You can also use it to zoom in and out. So use your fingers. So you can see there's a bit more of my picture there, actually. And then these two, left and right, allow you to change the perspective. This is really handy. Just do the left-hand one. If you've got a piece of furniture that is tapering, you know, when you take a picture of it, you can actually straighten it up using this option here. And this one sort of widens it from one side to the other. So this can help you if you've taken a slightly squiffy shot of your piece of furniture, but you want to get it up quickly. You don't have to go home and sort of edit it. Or you maybe are at home, you know what I mean, but you don't want to spend a lot of time on the computer playing around with it. You can do that there and get it ready. I thought I had a bit more plant in that picture, actually. Then, so what I tend to do is I use the brightness, just knock it up a little bit. This is just my standard. I do this in Photoshop as well, and just take the intensity up a notch as well. That's my go-to. I often put the structure on, which is just brings, but you have to be careful. You can see that really brings out the details and makes it much more crisp, but you don't want to go too far because it looks a bit crazy. So, and it also just looks a bit unflattering, like there's something wrong with the wood. So just a little bit just to sharpen it. But there is also a sharpen option here. They do pretty much the same sort of thing, if you ask me. Maybe somebody technical can tell me the difference, but I'm just going to leave that. Double effect otherwise. I sometimes use the highlight and shadows, which just want to make things pop a little bit more. It's a little bit like contrast and brightness again. I use vignette quite a lot because I quite like to bring the darkness in. I quite like that. But then I might just take some of that structure off because it does make it look a bit mottled. Anyway, you get the idea. So when I've done that, I just press the arrow at the top. There is an auto thing at the top there as well, which will change it. So if you've got a camera that does put a caster or colour on it, you could use that and it'll just knock it off and you'll be able to see what the true colour is. So there you go. That's taken my picture through. I can click on it. Hang on. Oh, I was going to say I can't edit it. Usually you can edit it. Maybe it's when I get into the writing of it. So I'd start to write my caption here. Now, my big tip to you is either write it here and select all your text before you post. It was really common when I first started posting to lose the text, which is really annoying when you've crafted it all. So I tend to highlight it all and then do the copy function. So I've got it on the copy key. And sometimes I then nip out into my notes, grab a fresh note, and then just paste it in. Oh, I've just pasted in my picture, but I have actually written it in my memo notes this time. So let's just do this. So I'll just select all and copy in my notes. So writing it in here in the first instance might make you feel better if you're still not comfortable with the interface, because you don't want to lose what you're writing on. It's horrible. So I say, even like on web pages, do it in Word, save it in Word, because that sinking feeling when what you've just crafted wonderfully has disappeared. So just paste that in, just clicking on the background and pasting. Now you can see I've got an at there. So I'm just going to delete a bit of it. Just deleted it a bit. I know that's the right thing, but if you're not sure, you just start typing and it'll give you the accounts, and you want it to pick up the actual account, make sure it's correct. I'm not going to post this because I haven't finished writing that bit in the middle, as you can see. We've had a very long hiatus. Use emojis, make it personable. You know, it sort of helps bring your post to life if it's your thing. I know people who hate emojis. So I've asked a question at the end. People don't always answer. They sometimes just say, oh, nice pic. And then I go on to write my hashtags directly here. So I will start typing. Get out of the way, right under where I was writing. And you can see it across the bottom there, they're starting to, well, forget about my keyboard trying to correct them. If I just slide up a bit, you'll see that Instagram is giving me suggestions, and it's like, they're my recent ones. But the ones that aren't recent, it will actually give me when they were last used and by how many people. So you've got an inherent sort of tool in here. And you want to get a good spread. You don't want it to be like millions. You know, something with 33,000, it's got a good chance of being seen in the feed for that hashtag when people go and have a look, or when they get an alert to say, oh, somebody's posted something new in this, because they will get that in their own feed, latest posts that are under that hashtag. So I don't normally do that. I usually do upcycled, but I could do furniture refinishing. These are some of the ones I normally use. So by all means, go and look at what I post. I follow other sort of leading furniture people and have a look at what they're doing, because some of them are very good with their interiors, following interiors accounts. So it's quite good to go and see what they're. So I would suggest you have a combination of furniture things, furniture things, do furniture artist. But also you want to really get under the skin of some of the tags that your ideal client will be using, looking at. So some of the ones I put on are things like eclectic interiors. They might not maybe apply to you too, but you might go and look at these hashtags and think, oh yeah, that's the sort of style of thing that I'm into. Style It Dark was one of them for a while. The other one was My Colourful Upcycle. Yeah. Some of these are actually hashtag accounts where a group of people will come together and they'll run it. Some of the magazines have their own tags, so you can kind of give your thing a bit of a boost. If it gets seen, they might put it in their feed. My colourful interior. You could actually describe it. So I might say geometric designs, that sort of thing. So I can actually do this off the top of my head now, but obviously I'm going to show you an app that you can use as well. And then you can tag people here if you want to, if you're using certain products, if you want to mention somebody, if you've got people you're asking a question and maybe other people could answer it. You know, if you're getting sort of friendly with people, you can tag them so that they see that you've asked and they'll come and respond. Or you can tag your products in your shop here, which is pretty nifty. So it puts a little shopping tag. Certainly add your location, because that helps it come up in location searches, and also sort of relevance to people where they're based as well. Now mine is set up as a creator account, so that means that I actually have to turn this off because I don't want that to go on my personal Facebook page. The reason I've got it set up as a creator account as opposed to a business account is you can't get really good music on a business account, but you can link to your business Facebook page here. So I'd be able to send that post directly to my business Facebook page. So I've opted for fun music instead of Muzak, which is in the account settings where the profile page was. If you want to play around and see the difference, both will give you insights. Both of them will give you access to have a business shop, but you might I think what I do is I tend to copy my post here, copy and paste it, drop it into Instagram Messenger, and go and create a post from scratch in Facebook with the same information. Facebook likes you to post natively in there anyway, rather than just pushing it across from Instagram. So it's not a terrible thing. So, that's what I used to do that, but I don't necessarily now. So I'd click the tick and that would post that post for me. So I just click the back arrow at the very bottom of my screen. This is my Samsung, that is, and come back out of here. It will let me save a draft, which will then go in the drafts at the top here. So I just come back out and go into the plus feed post. You'll be able to see your drafts across the top there. So I can go back in and work on it again. So there we go. Now, a nifty little app that I've come across. I knew about it ages ago, actually, but it's way more useful. It's called Preview. I've got a slide for you with my recommended apps on. And this shows you a feed and lets you add the picture so you can see what it looks like. Now, I'm not all into making my feed look amazing, but at the same time, you do want a bit of balance. You can see the balance between wood and rainbow things there. It's not very planned, but I do want to break it up. And that's quite neat to be able to see that without having to post it. Preview does let you plan your posts and your hashtags, but unfortunately, I don't see any upcycling hashtags in there at all. So that's maybe something we need to get in touch with them, because they say, suggest hashtags to us. I'm like, yeah, well, you don't have any decent interior design ones or any decent furniture ones. So the other app that I use, just to show you, is HishHash. So this is a list of categories and a list of tags here. So I just start typing and I can put in, so if we put in upcycling, so add tag, and then I can go into, whoop, this thing keeps getting in the way. So let's go into furniture makeover, and it will give me other tags, and you can see how often they're used. So furniture makeovers might be worth putting that one in my list, because it's got less, but it's maybe too few at 11,000. But furniture makeover is quite a good one. Like I say, if you go for interior design or furniture design, it's not as big as interior design. But furniture upcycling, you might get seen less for than, say, furniture makeover, because obviously there's less people posting with that tag. So you're more likely to be seen in the hashtag feed. And I'm just going to quickly show you, if I come out of here, I can choose from my categories. So you have to create these yourself, and you build up these little libraries, and then I can click. And if I want to do something, say I want to do furniture interiors and do shuffle tags, and it will copy them to clipboard. And I'll just do it in my notes so you can see it. And then it'll actually paste, and it will shuffle them for me. So if you're finding it a little bit overwhelming at first while you're getting used to stuff, we'll move on to sort of looking at analytics and so on. I think, we just want to get off the ground here, but certainly going and using tags that other sort of prominent furniture upcyclers are using is a great start. You don't want to have to be starting to analyze what each and every performance of each tag at this point, but that's a really nifty little tool. And then I'll just show you where the hashtag feeds are. So you come into here, you search magnifying glass at the bottom, and then I'll go hashtag, let's do upcycled furniture. Oh, well, that was upcycle furniture. Let's see. And then you can go through it and go, yeah, that's the kind of content that I'm, into. This looks quite a bit more random. What did we have? Furniture makeover. But if we did my colourful upcycle, just for a, there you go. You can see some familiar bits and pieces there. A couple of people's stuff I recognise. You can see that they're using those tags too. So, you'd be competitive on this. So I can choose to follow that. That means I will see these posts, new posts in my feed. And then I can see what other people are commenting. I can go in there and, I can be in amongst it. If I wanted to follow like a large account, say Rocket St. George, so following, and then I can choose, oops, no, not there, here, where the little bell is at the top. So I've got them for posts. Yeah, that's fine. So you choose to get notifications for posts. Then I'll see when they're posting. And I can think to myself, ooh, right, I might just get involved with, say this had come up on my feed and people are all chatting. It's like being in amongst it, being seen to be sort of interacting with content and people who like the same sort of things that you're producing, and giving yourself a bit of a exposure that way. So you can see, I can actually see Design Retro Brighton is another furniture upcycler, Emma. So, you know, it's just about building that world that's sort of around you, really. And sort of piggybacking a little bit of what they're doing and their followers to sort of get yourself seen. Let me just come down to the chat. I saw something coming up. Kelly says, I find posting daily a real challenge, coming up with relatable content and worrying about those tumbleweed moments. I'm conscious it's been months since my last post and getting myself out there, bet that it feels daunting. Maybe it's a confidence thing. I think it's, I think that's completely normal. I mean, I feel like that all the time. And I just kind of go, oh, I'm going to post done. And I'll still think, you know, I'm not relating enough. It's not perfect enough, but, you know, it is something you've just, I think you've got to fake it to make it, or feel the fear and do it anyway, you know, because you're doing better than you think you are. And I think, you know, if you know that those things are things that I say to myself, but you probably go, well, your feed's great. You know, it's like, well, yeah, but yours will be better than you think it is. And somebody else will think it's great. But I think you do have to push yourself a bit, because some of us aren't, you know, natural extroverts who want to tell everybody everything we're doing. Big girl pants on, yes, Kelly. and it's hard, because I had that post to do. I had that post to do yesterday. I wanted to relate to people about the year on. There's so many thoughts in my head, but there's so many people saying it more eloquently than me. So I put a picture of the candle up and put a little bit about my story. And it didn't do particularly well, 99. You know, I see other people a lot more comments than I get, but I think that's because I need to get out there and interact more with the people. So it's good to know what you can be doing. And if you're not posting, that's something you can be doing. And, you know, but I force myself to do it. I set that sort of little time in the evening, try and get it out before. I've sort of moved it a bit earlier. I used to try and get out by 9, but I think the stats are showing on my thing that most people are on about 6. So I'm trying to do it a bit earlier, testing that out, and just forcing myself, really. But yeah, finding the picture can be hard, and then you've got to come up with content. Don't worry about necessarily relating your photo to what you're saying. You don't have to describe the image. I still fall into that a little bit, but you can totally just say something about your day, and have a picture there that people can interact with, and it grabs their attention. And you know, you could be saying, cool, you know, finding a bit of a juggle, going back to school with the kids and everything, and getting my creative work in at the same time. And, you know, how are you finding it? You know, that's relatable, it's real. You don't need to put a business face on, because, you know, your business is you. So you can really be relatable by just, you know, talking about yourself. And you know, it's funny stories, you can share sad stories, you can share your stresses. I mean, it's always good to sort of leave a positive note, but it's, you know, you can be real about stuff like that, and reach out to people. I think people are very kind and very supportive, but it is, yeah, we do need to push ourselves, because our conversations and our thoughts, deepest thoughts, in our heads. So we've got to find a way of getting that out there, and finding a hook that makes us say, right, I want to share this. And generally it's because we want people to see what we're doing in our furniture. So yes, there's a bit of pull those big girl pants up. But you know, to start with, don't feel you have to do it every day. Maybe set yourself a goal to say, right, I'm going to do 3 good posts a week. I would say, if you feel better about it, try and be in there's some people in their stories all the time and they post once a week. Just set yourself something that you think is achievable. If you're going to finish a piece of furniture once a week, say, right, I'll do a reveal on the Friday, I might do a sneaky peek on the Wednesday, and on the Monday I'll do a post with a flat lay showing what I'm going to be doing. If you're that efficient. That's not me at all. I'll be like, well, I'll show you next week because I haven't finished it. But you know what I'm saying? Maybe have a little bit of something you can hook it around each day, or say 3 days a week, and then a couple of stories could be, that can be the bit where you don't have to show your face in the stories. And you see mine, you can put a little caption on, and you can be quite introverted in your stories. They're a nice place to hide. So I would do a separate one on those. I think that's the best thing to do, because obviously it's quite a lot to fit in, isn't it, really? Is there anything else that I can take you through while I've got my Instagram up here? Warts and all. Excuse me, I've got my presenter folk hold. Let's have a look. Let's have a little look, shall we? So I think mine's just changed because it had another little edit link. This double row of buttons in the middle is changing. There's some things have moved here. I think it was just view, shop, edit profile, whatever. If you go across and go into settings. Oh, good, Yvonne. That's what we want to hear. I think we'll set some little, well, not some challenges, but we'll do some stuff together. We'll say, right, today I'm going to create a reel and I want you to have a go to. I'll actually nip into at the end, just give you a quick run through the apps. You don't have to use them all. They're just like to help. But I thought I'd get them down on paper so you've got that to look at. Paper, you know what I mean? Account there. And then account type. So switch to business account. Mine is a creator account. Oh, it doesn't say where it says creator account. Have a little look at that on yours. I am a creator account at the moment, which is for like the content creators who might have a personal account before. They're not a business, but they need more information than a personal account. So there's 3 kinds. So just have a look into what you've got. Maybe you've got a personal account. Maybe that's changing your settings, or maybe I've just got some stuff rolled out sooner than you have. Often things are rolled out in batches. It was very common for the music feature didn't get rolled out to everybody at the same time, but I think most people have got it now. When you go into your reels, the music sort of situation here under the audio. Oh, look, you can see my books. Have a little look anyway at that, Sherry, to see if you get stuck, just shout. Oh yes, I'm going to go and have a little look. I'll just, is there anything I can pull up here that might help you before I stop sharing here, and just nip off to the apps thing. If I'm doing my stories, if you want to have a go at your stories and have a play, I go in through my bubble at the top left. No, get out of the way. And then I go to the blue plus sign over my image and it pulls up the stories thing. Ignore my my very sophisticated computer stand. And then I can just start to add from my computer stuff there. Oh, look, there's a picture of my dog. There you go, my old dog. And then I can start to add comments at the top. So that's Lolly. I was just taking that picture because that's last lockdown. That's lockdown 1. Lockdown 2, I've got 2 different dogs and different slippers. And then I can go up here and I can add things. So you can tag your products, you can add locations, you can add hashtags, which will also show in the hashtag feeds, which is quite good. But this is where you get all the fun stuff that you'll have seen. So so you can have a bit more fun in here. You know, you've got sort of filters and things, but we can go into that into a bit more detail. but it's quite fun. You know, I feel like a graphic designer being able to do some of these things in here. And then in the bottom corner where you can see my stories, it says my face and Facebook. I just click there and it pushes it into my stories on Facebook as well. So you can link them together. Let's just go back. I think that's the settings icon in the top left-hand corner of your story up there. So the cog, that will take you in and let you connect. Oh, they do like to move things around though. That used to let you connect to Facebook. I'll have a little look and see where that is if anybody's trying to find it. But there's all these different ways of capturing your content as well. So you can do the boomerangs and hands-free videoing and all that sort of thing. Yeah. So we look at stories separately, I think, because there's loads of stuff in there, and it's good fun if you're feeling a bit nervous about your feed. If you keep your stories consistently moving, you're still showing up. And, you know, people love to come in here and have a look at these. These light up when somebody's got new stories. Right, so I'll stop. Let's just double check who's in the chat. Can you schedule posts? Yes, you can, but not in Instagram itself. Instagram's its own little universe. Creator Studio in Facebook is where do you actually link? Yeah, Creator Studio in Facebook lets you do Instagram posts, so you can actually then do your Facebook post and then create it into an Instagram post. It's not got as many tools as here, but there are other tools like Later and Tailwind and Hootsuite that allow you to schedule to Instagram. But there's all thoughts about them being a little bit downgraded because you're not posting in the app. So, but that's certainly a good way to schedule. I never am that organized that I can schedule, I have to say. So, but have a look at one of those, Hootsuite, Later, what else to say, Tailwind. I can write those down for you. Your Etsy link, you just want to go into your profile at the bottom right hand here. Just realized I could have used my cursor. Not used screen sharing on phone before, you can probably tell. And then I've got an edit profile link in the middle. It used to be somewhere in the page there. Oh no, that's not what yeah. There should say edit profile. And I can't remember where it used to be. I do apologize. It's here somewhere on the page, or you scroll across and it was there. I've gone a bit blank, but mine's in the middle. Does anybody else want to chip in where they see theirs? They've definitely moved it. And you put it here where the website is. You put a link to your Etsy shop there. You see there. Oops. As soon as I touch the screen, it does that thing here. Yeah, so you can paste it in there and then just click the arrow in the top. And that will take them through to your shop. That's okay. Right. I'm going to... Oh, cool. Yeah, good. Let's stop. Let's just share the recommended apps. Let's get to the, oh, that's really helpful, isn't it? That's at the bottom, so I have to move the screen. There we go. And this is just a selection of, it's most of the ones that I use, but you don't have to use them all. But if you're looking for something specific, have a quick look here. There are many apps. If you're looking through the Play or Apple, whatever the Apple one's called, you will find, let me just get that out of there. You could just go down a rabbit hole and end up uploading loads of apps that don't work. So Snapseed is the one I recommend for using like the eraser tool for cleaning things up before you put them into Instagram if you need to be quick about it. But it's a good app anyway for doing your photos for other listings. InShot I find very useful. I'll show you that when we come to do a session on Reels. We'll do another little standalone walkthrough on Reels. It's just easier to edit. I use it to edit all my videos. So if I'm doing a time lapse, like the things you might have seen on my feed, I just throw all the videos in there and I can put music over it when I put it into Reels later. I find Reels quite fiddly for editing, especially because you've only got 15 to 30 seconds. It's yeah, so that's a good video compilation app. Preview is the one I showed you, where you can see what your feed looks like with a post you put up. Hish Hash we looked at. Memo and Notes, you might have your own version of that on your phone, but I think it's really handy for drafting. Apple Clips, if you've got an iPhone. Caption, The new thing on Instagram is, and we'll come on to this more when we're doing videos, is you'll have seen probably people putting captions on to help people. Well, actually, the statistics show that most people are accessing the internet on a mobile phone now, and most people are, the Instagram is largely a silent app. Most people are not listening to the sound. So auto captioning allows people to join in and still watch what you're doing and not scroll on by. So that's something we can come to next time. But if it's something you're trying to do, just know those are things that I've used. Well, not Apple Clips because I haven't got iPhone, sadly. Reposter is a really good one, especially if you're starting out. Kelly, this might be something that you find useful if you're feeling a bit bereft of content and you need something for your feed. Go and find something that inspires you, an interior design, somebody else's bit of furniture, or maybe a piece of artwork that you're thinking, gosh, I'd love to take a technique like this and use it on furniture, like we did with our design challenge. Anything that's inspiring you on Instagram that you see, why not share it? So you can use Reposter to copy the link, which is those three dots at the top of any post that you'd use to edit your own post. You can copy the link to a person's post, you post it into this app, and it allows you to share that post onto your own feed. And you can just write a caption, say, wow, what do you think of this? I did it the day with a room. I did a Sunday post like that, just to, and you can get good traction off it because people obviously liked that picture first time around on somebody else's feed. So look at interior designers, look at paint brands, and something that inspires you, share it. Unfold and Word Swag are layout tools, so you can get some nice sort of borders and ways of sort of putting images together and nice wording over the top of it. Maybe one for later, but if you're trying to promote something and you want to put words on it or put it into a sort of nice format, those are a couple of good apps. IG Fonts is the same as you can use on your well, it allows you to change your fonts in Instagram so that you can make things stand out. So if you've seen people using it to bold things up or to make them into different fonts from the rest of the text, you basically just go in there, type something in, and then copy and paste out a different style and drop it into your post. And then different before and after, or diff before and after, is the slider that I use to create before and after pictures, where it actively slides across. And I think I'm going to do a little post on that this week, actually, and just show people how that's done. So I'm telling you about it first. So this is why I say, definitely right at the start of a project, do not forget to take a before picture of your piece of furniture head on as much as you can. Obviously, we can edit the alignment if it's a bit off, but then you've got something to sandwich together with the after shot, and it makes for really good content because people love just sitting there watching it go backwards and forwards. It's a great one to do. So you could go back and find something else in your past. Don't think you've got to just post what you're doing now. You will see some people's feeds, they are rehashing things that they've posted at different angles. Go and get something you did on the course, get the before and after, sandwich them together in different before and after, and say, I'm just looking back to this. A lot of people do throwback hashtag TBT, Throwback Thursday, but you don't have to. You could do it on a day and say, just looking at this piece, I was inspired by it, and I'm thinking about, doing these colors in another piece. You know what I mean? Just make use of what you've already created to create more posts. Okie dokie, I'm going to stop sharing that. Well, that's it. That's a run through, an overview of Instagram. So hopefully you feel a bit friendlier towards Instagram than we did at the beginning. Has anybody got any other questions? I think we're kind of coming towards time, but I'm more than happy if you want to ask anything else or see anything else before we go. But like I said, I see this as the start of it. We will do another session where we take things into those specific other types of content, but I think we'll also do a more advanced one when everybody's feeling a bit more sort of like they're up and running with it and are pushing things forward and want to know more. We'll do that. Let me just check in the group, see if anybody is asking there before we wrap up. So when the brain goes blank and I can't find the group. There we go. Hi, Dorita. Dorita's in the thing. I can't see any of the comments though. Looking good. Well, we made it in the end, despite some troubles at the beginning and some troubles in the middle. I do like to challenge myself with the old tech. Oh, I'm glad, Yvonne. That's absolutely fantastic. I'm glad that you're feeling a bit inspired to go and give it a go. And obviously, let's just use the group as well. If you're wanting some likes, I know we're saying, you know, we do want to build the audience of furniture people, but let's help each other out. If you're not sure about what you're writing or what you've posted, you know, let's share stuff in the group as well. But yeah, good. I'm pleased to hear that. I hope everybody else found it useful too, and everybody else watching on replay. Hopefully feeling excited to get stuck in, because it's a lovely supportive platform. I think once you demystify it a little bit, and it's something you'll always evolve your knowledge on, they're always bringing new things in, it keeps us on our toes. So don't feel you need to know it all, but try and have a bit of fun with it, because it's a good way of making friends and showing what you're doing. And it is a lot kinder than some of the other platforms out there. I think once you get into it, you really enjoy it. Okie dokie. Right. Thank you all for joining me. I will see you soon. I will put the slides in the courses area, and also I'll put this replay up in there as well for you to watch back and get any more tips and tricks that you might have missed the first time around. Okay. See you all. I'm just going to end the meeting now. So good night. See you soon. Bye.